gentlemen, once again, as always, the one, the only, the motherfucking General, Miguel Magallon! And as always, the president, the founder, the CEO of Magallon Entertainment! And the leader of the Sports Betting Mexican Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast this evening. Welcome back to the motherfucking podcast. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you guys a recap of week 5 of the NFL season. A recap of everything that went down this week, all the tickets that went down this week, all of the bets that were trashed this week, and all of the motherfucking plays that made us some motherfucking money this week. Mula, feria, dinero. Ladies and gentlemen, every single play broken down piece by piece, ticket by ticket, layer by layer, sportsbook by fucking sportsbook. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, let us get into this. So, I'm going to start with the Thursday night game, and I want to work all the way down to the Monday night game. Now, just for a heads up, I'm recording this clip right now before the Monday Night Football game. So tonight we have the Green Bay Packers visiting the Las Vegas bitch-ass Raiders tonight. Raiders are being favored by -2. I just came back from the sports book about 2 hours ago, and I laid down about almost 500 on the Green Bay Packers to cash out a G, $1,000, one stack. So I am taking the Green Bay Packers on the money line tonight against the Las Vegas bitch-ass Raiders out here in Vegas this evening. So, again, for 100% transparency, for documentation, and to keep it 100 with everybody, I am recording this clip. Just got back from the sportsbook 2 hours ago. I'm recording this clip before the Monday Night Football kickoff. I'll be probably posting this video and throwing it up on YouTube after the game ends. But going into tonight, I am taking the Green Bay Packers on the motherfucking money line, hoping they cash me out a G. Again, I got them at like $450, almost $500 at like plus 120 over at the Las Vegas Westgate Super Sportsbook. So we'll see how that play goes tonight. Hopefully we cash out another ticket. But let's start off with how this weekend went down for us. Let's start off with Thursday football, right? Let's bring that shit back. Fucking recap of the week. Let's start off with Thursday night football. So we had the Bears visiting the Washington Commanders. I put about, I think I put 400 on every ticket this week. So I had about 400 on the Washington Commanders. I took them on the money line, and my plan was to cash out that ticket. Cash out, I think I bet 400 to win, like, cash out 600, because I think it was like -200 on the money line. Some shit like that. So the goal was 400 on the Washington Commanders money line to cash out 600, so 200 profit, and then roll that entire 600 onto the San Francisco 49ers money line. Unfortunately, the Washington Commanders ended up losing and giving the Chicago Bears their first win of the season. So that was a letdown. That was a disappointment. I think what disappointed me the most about that game on Thursday night was the fact that last week I saw the Washington Commanders go into Philly and play the Philadelphia Eagles, took the game into overtime, almost won that shit in regulation. They literally scored a touchdown with like no time left on the clock. It was like 0 minutes, 0 seconds. It was the last play of the fucking game. Howell threw a TD right there in the end zone. And, I think the players and that, new offensive head coach, the offensive coordinator, Bieniemy, the guy that came over from Kansas City, that motherfucker, he looked like he was frustrated on the sidelines because it looked like he wanted to go for it. I think he wanted to go for it like a couple times in that game because Washington did a good job of driving the ball on Philly. Philly's defense does not look elite. It doesn't look like it once did last year. Last year was a historical defensive season that led the NFL in sacks, led the NFL in interceptions, led the NFL in forced turnovers, the most sacks in like almost NFL history or some shit since the 65, 67 Bears did it. Like, Philadelphia's defense last year was legit. They had a historical defense. It was historically great statistically. Again, they led the league in sacks, they led the league in interceptions, they led the league in forced fumbles. Last year's Philly defense was fucking eating people alive. This year, Phillies defense, it's alright. It's not what it was last year. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they suck, but Phillies defense be giving up some yards these days. I saw Kirk Cousins fucking stretching the field on that ass. He was going deep and shit. He was fucking going deep on that pussy till those fucking balls smacked their ass in the face. I mean, I've seen Philly play a couple times this year. I see them play New England to start the year. I saw that home game against the Vikings. I saw that road game against Tampa Bay. I saw them at home against Washington. And, you know, I even saw them a little bit this week, not too much this week, though, when they had to go on the road to LA, to Los Angeles. And like I said, their defense is good. I mean, it's alright. But Philly's defense ain't elite. It's not historic. It's not fucking, you know, top 5. It's probably like top 10, top 15, but I wouldn't say they have a top 5 defense this year. I wouldn't say that. I think it's top 10, top 15, but I wouldn't consider them number 1 at all, and I wouldn't even put them in my top 5 in terms of defenses this season. So, but nonetheless, Washington, they were driving the ball last week out there in Philly, and they were going deep, going deep in that shit. Deep as balls up in that pussy. I'm telling you guys, Washington did a really good job on offense. They played with a lot of heart. They had a lot of guts, had their fucking souls out there on the field. Excuse me. And so I thought it was a good game. I thought Washington should have won that game. I thought Bieniemy was getting frustrated with Coach Ron Rivera, who I think is going to get replaced by Bieniemy at some point this season. I feel like Ron Rivera is a good guy. I think he's a good coach, but I think he's getting left behind because I think Ron Rivera reminds me of like Mike McCarthy out there in Dallas. I feel like they're old school head coaches. You know what I mean? Kind of like Bruce Arians was out there in Tampa Bay when he had Tom Brady. Feels like they're very like old school kind of offense. Mike Tomlin is kind of this way with his offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, out there for the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's a lot of coaches out here who I feel are getting exposed because their old ways of thinking and the old ways of doing things are getting left behind. And I look at how like championship offenses are being run today. I see what's going on out there in Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes and, you know, what Big Red is able to accomplish with him out there. I think they have a special relationship. And obviously anytime you get a player of the caliber of Patrick Mahomes, the offense is always going to be great. But when you have a head coach who knows how to like do innovative things with offensive play calling, and be like, you know, I don't want to say bleeding edge, but be dynamic, be creative, be, you know what I mean, an outside the box thinker when it comes to offensive play calling, and you get a quarterback like a Patrick Mahomes, like a Joe Burrow, you know, I think that offense can be special. So I look at the way championship offenses are being run today, and I look at Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. I look at Brock Purdy out there in San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan running that offense. Even McVay, when Matthew Stafford is healthy and his offensive line is healthy, which is probably the most important thing that's, you know, fucking up the Rams these days. It's not Matthew Stafford. I think Matthew Stafford is actually playing okay. I think it's just his offensive line that's dog shit because after they won the Super Bowl, a lot of those offensive linemen ended up retiring. I think it was Whitworth that ended up retiring first. And ever since they won that Super Bowl, you know, that team's been downhill, but not because Matthew Stafford or not because Aaron Donald forgot how to play. It's just because a lot of guys ended up going into retirement and a lot of players ended up getting traded away because Matthew Stafford's bitch ass, unfortunately, didn't want to give a pay cut. He didn't want to restructure his contract so that they can keep players on the roster or so they could acquire more talent. Because Matthew Stafford kind of took that shit, as Deion Sanders says, he took that shit personally and said, hell no, I'm about to do no pay cuts. Hell no, I'm about to give up no money. Hell motherfucking nah, I'm about to give you no fucking double down, you know, double discount, double check. Fuck that shit. I ain't Aaron Rodgers. I ain't Tom Brady. I'm not Peyton Manning in the back half of their career. I'm not willing to give you guys a pay cut and take less money in order to put better players around me. Hell nah. I want the motherfucking max to the limit. And Matthew Stafford, I'm not saying he didn't earn it. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. But Matthew Stafford has been on the record, or his agent has actually, and says Matthew Stafford will not restructure his contract, will not rework his contract. He believes he's a top 5 quarterback in football still, and he believes that Super Bowl ring earned him, a 5-year max deal, and he wants to make as much money as possible because, let's be honest, America, this is probably the last stretch of Matthew Stafford's career. I don't think he's going to play another 10 years. I think he probably has 2 or 3 at best, depending if he wants to be a backup QB eventually or not. But I don't think Matthew Stafford is going to, play into his 40s like Tom Brady did or like Aaron Rodgers is trying to do. Like, I just don't see that in the cards. He has a long history with injuries. He has a lot of injury issues. And again, he has a bad offensive line, and it's hard to get good players around him because when he makes that much money, it makes it hard for the coach and GM to stack the roster around him, which is why they're so focused on, trying to get people in the draft or, try to develop young players. Because when you have a quarterback that wants to take up fucking half the salary cap, it's really hard to load up a roster around him. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's the issue with the Rams. I don't think it's Matthew Stafford. I think it's the offensive line that is not only injured, but even when they were healthy, they weren't necessarily the best either. So, anyways, those are my 2 cents on that. And, going back to Philly, I think Philly's a good team, but same kind of similar situation. They gave Jalen Hurts all the money. They gave him the bag. They gave him the mula, the feria, the plata. And he lost a lot of good defensive players on his team. Same thing with Russell Wilson when he got paid back in the day. Guess what was the first thing to go away? The Legion of Boom. And what happens when you take the Legion of Boom away from Russell Wilson? He looks average. He looks mediocre. He looks washed up at best. And how does he look right now with Denver? With not an elite defense that's going to get fucking 2 or 3 fucking, strip sacks or interceptions or fumbles. And now he plays with a dog shit defense that can't get a stop, can't, stop a nosebleed to save their life. Now Russell Wilson's in a situation where he's going to have to win the game himself because his defense is not elite. Denver's defense is not what it used to be back when Von Miller was there, back in the day with Peyton Manning. This defense is trash. This defense is garbage. This defense fucking sucks. And, I think Coach Payton has to take the loss on that because, we can talk shit all day about Russell Wilson and how he's garbage, but he's not the one that gave up 70 points to the Dolphins either. Let's get that shit straight right here, right now. You feel me? So, yeah, I think that sucks for Russell Wilson because, again, now he's in that position where, okay, you want to get paid all this money, right? You believe you deserve it. You said you're the reason your team won the Super Bowl ring. It wasn't because of Marshawn Lynch and that defense. It's all because of you, right, Russell? Okay, bitch, show me. Because now, again, he has probably the worst defense of his career. They can't stop a nosebleed. They can't stop anything. And now he has to go out there and outscore the other team constantly because his defense is basically always going to allow a field goal or a TD on every single other possession. So with that being said, on one hand, I want to say it sucks for Russell Wilson. On the other hand, I want to say, like, bitch, that's on you, homie. Like, you had the Legion of Boom. You had Marshawn Lynch back in the day. And you said, fuck them, pay me. You know what I mean? Like, so, okay, Russell Wilson, let's see what you got. So Jalen Hurts, right, going back to him real quick, same thing. Just like a Matthew Stafford, just like a Russell Wilson, he basically said, the reason we went to the Super Bowl is because of me. I'm that guy. I'm that dude. I'm that fucking, I'm that hero. All right, bro. Well, now we're not going to afford a historic defense like we used to, have. So just like Russell Wilson lost his best defense and just like Peyton Manning, had to take a pay cut, and unlike Matthew Stafford who refuses to take a pay cut, Jalen Hurts said, hell no, I'm still young. I need that max money. Bitch, better pay me. Like what Rihanna say? What did Riri do? She said, bitch, better have my money. And Jalen Hurts got the fucking bag. He was the highest paid quarterback in NFL history for like 5 minutes before the next dude got his contract. But the point is, Jalen Hurts, he wanted the bag. He got it. And guess what? Now his defense isn't what it was last season. It's not historic. It's not phenomenal. It's not great. I think it's good. I think it's above average. I wouldn't say it's top 5. It's damn sure not the best fucking defense in football right now. Hell no. Fuck no. So, again, Philly does not have the number 1 defense in the NFL like it did last year. I don't think it even has a top 5 defense this year. I think it's top 10, top 15 for sure. I think it's top 10, maybe like 11, 12-ish, kind of, sort of. but it's not in my top 5 right now, and it's damn sure not number 1. Far from it. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, Washington was able to move the ball on them last week, and they were running up and down the field. They played with heart. They played with guts. They played with soul. They put all that shit on the line. They was trying to win. And Bieniemy, again, that dude they got from Kansas City, who says he's that dude, right? Everyone, always says they're that guy. Well, he was trying to go for it on 4th and 1. He wanted to go for it on 4th and 2. But Ron Rivera, like a lot of these old school coaches, like Mike McCarthy out there in Dallas, like Mike Tomlin right now, and his stupid ass OC, like Todd Bowles and Bruce Arians in Tampa Bay. A lot of these coaches that are old school, Baltimore, right? These old school coaches that want to do things the old ways, like my kids always say, during ancient times, they're getting left behind. They're getting lost, in the wind. Because nobody wants to fucking just run the ball every single time on 1st and 10. Like, bro, they're not innovative. They're not creative. They're not bleeding edge. They're not getting ahead of the trend. They're not making the trend. They're not forcing the trend. They're not riding the trend. They don't even understand the trend. They're not thinking outside the box. They're staying inside the box. Everything's textbook. Everything's basic as fuck. And that's what's pissing off a lot of fans when it comes to a lot of these play calling you're seeing by a lot of these old school coaches in Pittsburgh, in Baltimore, in Tampa Bay, in fucking, in New England, right? Bill Belichick trying to still do things the old school way. And Matt Jones is over there fucking, frustrated and shit. Because there's nothing innovative. There's nothing creative. There's nothing outside the box. There's no trickery. There's no creativity. There's nothing. It's just textbook. Basic shit. And defenses are basically able to read that shit and pick it apart. And a lot of these OCs are probably going to get fired soon. Meanwhile, you have teams out there in San Francisco. You have teams like the Kansas City Chiefs. You had teams like, LA with McVay when they actually have a offensive line that's fucking healthy. You see a couple of these teams here and there, they're trying to be creative. They're trying to do things a new way, right? They're trying to force the ball downfield. But, again, some teams are built for championships and some teams are built to make the playoffs at best. And so I think that's kind of where we are right now. And yeah, so, we'll see what happens. That's why I think you're going to see a lot of coaches from college football continue to make their way into the NFL. Because this shit can't go on forever. You look at what's going on at USC, you look at what's going on in Georgia, you're seeing a lot of head coaches, Deion Sanders, Coach Primetime, of course. You're seeing a lot of these college football coaches get more and more notoriety, more and more respect, more and more accolades, more and more national spotlight attention. And who knows? Some of them could be making their way to the NFL soon. Doesn't mean they'll be successful. Remember that guy they got for Kyler Murray out there in Arizona? I forgot his name. Kingsbury? Yeah. So again, just because you're good at college football doesn't mean you're going to be a success when you get to the NFL. So, but at the same time, some of these coaches, like fucking New England, like Dallas, like fucking, a lot of these other teams are just running shit old school way, doing that old school thinking, and that's not going to last forever either. So we'll see what ends up happening in the offseason. Again, this offseason, and I just want to remind you guys of this because it is the biggest thing I'm following right now in college football, in pro football, and in sports specifically. I really do believe this is going to be the biggest quarterback draft in NFL history, one of the biggest quarterback drafts in NFL history, because to me, in my opinion, this is probably the deepest quarterback draft in the last 15 years. I think there's going to be 6 to 9 quarterbacks that are taking in the first round this year. Doesn't mean they're all special. Doesn't mean they all fucking deserve it. Doesn't mean they're all elite. Doesn't mean Caleb Williams is the next fucking, Patrick Mahomes. Doesn't mean, Shedeur Sanders is going to be the next fucking whoever. It just means that there's a lot of mediocre quarterbacks in the league right now. I think a lot of them suck. I think a lot of them, like fucking, who's that guy for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Pickett, whatever his name is. I forgot his fucking name. I think he's a bust. I think there's, Mac Jones is probably going to get replaced. Dak Prescott looks like dog shit again. Can't be beat the 49ers to save his life for shit. I think there's just a lot of bad quarterbacks in the league. Ryan Tannehill's bitch ass in Tennessee. You look around the league, there's a lot of just average, mediocre quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo, bitch ass, don't get me started. I got money betting against him tonight. So, then you have the ones that win just enough games to save their jobs, but they're not the long-term solution. The Kirk Cousins, the Dak Prescotts, the Derek Carrs, you know what I mean? Like, Baker Mayfield's trying to fucking save his career right now. There's a lot of QBs in this league that are either garbage or just mediocre at best. So, for me, I look at 6 to 9 quarterbacks this year that are probably going to get drafted in the first round. Again, doesn't mean they're all special. Doesn't mean they're all elite. Doesn't mean they're the truth. Doesn't mean they're the next fucking Mahomes. Doesn't mean they're the next anything. They could be the next fucking bust in this league. But I think when you have that much potential, you have that much hope, and you have that much fucking, lottery fucking, opportunity ahead of you, I think there's going to be a lot of NFL executive and owners that are going to choose to pull the trigger on this. And I think they're going to draft a new QB soon. They're going to fire the GM. They're going to fire the head coach. They're going to get a new OC with that college football experience that knows how to be creative. Some of them will be successful in this league. Some of them are going to flame out in this league. But we're going to find out pretty soon this offseason, in my opinion. So anyways, let's get back to the tickets. So I had money 400 Washington Commanders. They lost again. The reason I bet them was because they played with so much heart in Philly. They put their heart and soul out there. The enemy was trying to go for it every time on 4th and 1 and 4th and 2, and every single time here comes Ron Rivera's old ass. No, we don't do it that way. Back in my day, the enemy's like, bro, shut the fuck up. Let's fucking run. We're at the fucking 20. We're at the 30. The team is driving. We got the momentum. Let's run the ball on that ass. Philly ain't who they used to be. And here comes Ron Rivera. Back in my day. Oh my fucking God, bro. I think Ron Rivera is going to be out of this league. I know, and I hate to say it. I know that sucks. He's a good guy. He looks like a great man, but he's just not cut for this league anymore. He's built for the way the league was, during the 80s, during the 70s, during the 90s, during the early 2000s. Like, he should have been a head coach when, Ray Lewis and Ben Roethlisberger were going at it back and forth, and back when you used to actually be able to hit Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Like, back in the day, I think Ron Rivera would have been a phenomenal head coach. But now in this league with all this fucking movement and fucking audibles and all this fucking, shit going on, coaches trying to be creative as ever. Like, look at what's going on in Miami. That motherfucker stays in motion. They keep Tyreek Hill in motion. They keep fucking Waddle running around the field. Like, you look a lot of these, a lot of this innovative play calling, from Miami and the Dolphins, from Kyle Shanahan and the Niners, from Patrick Mahomes and Big Red out there. There's a lot of head coaches that are showing you that, if you're going to be successful in this league on offense, you're going to have to learn how to, think outside the box. And I think Ron Rivera, I think he's getting left behind. I think he looks like an old school coach stuck in medieval times. And I think Bieniemy eventually at some point is going to replace him at some point in time. So I think Bieniemy was frustrated that whole game in Philly. I think he wanted to keep going for it, and Ron Rivera keep telling him no. And at the end of the game, with no time left on the clock, Howell throws a TD in the end zone, ties the game up. Bieniemy wanted to go for the 2-point conversion and finish it there, kill it there. Ron Rivera decides to go for the extra point, and Philly wins the game in overtime. And Bieniemy just looked frustrated as shit after that game. So going into this game, I said, you know what? Commanders, they play with heart. They play with soul. Bieniemy looks like he has control of the offense now. And the Chicago Bears just look like a shit show. They look like a national embarrassment. They look pathetic to me. And sure enough, I put 400 on the Commanders to win this game. And I was going to roll all the money over to the San Francisco money line against the bitch-ass Dallas Cowboys. And sure enough, right after I make the bet, we find out that one of the Bears' legendary players ended up dying. And the Bears, were all motivated and hyped, and they wanted to do it, for the old school and all this other bullshit. And the Bears actually showed up for once in their fucking life, and they ended up winning the game. So that was very frustrating. But, we'll see if they can carry that momentum. Just real quick, a sneak peek into this next week. You got the Chicago Bears, who just, won their first game of the season, dropped 40 on fucking Washington, that forgot their heart and soul in Philly. And now they're coming home, they're going back home to Chicago, Chi-Town's where we get down, and they're playing the Minnesota Vikings without Justin Jefferson. Ooh, that'll be interesting. Vikings are favored by 3, but what do we know about Kirk Cousins? Kirk Cousins is not an elite quarterback in this league. I think he's average at best. I think he's mediocre, honestly. And now he has to play this game with no Justin Jefferson. I don't know, guys. I'm going to be honest. I feel like Justin Jefferson is like 80% of that offense, honestly. I feel like Kirk Cousins is fucking lost without him. I'm not sure how they're going to manage this week. I would expect other guys to step up, but I'm not sure if we can count on them. And, I think Kirk Cousins does this thing where he constantly loses to teams that he's supposed to beat. And I think it really frustrates a lot of people. So I'm going to be honest, guys. I know Vikings are favored -3, but next week I'm looking at Chicago to win back-to-back, to win on back-to-back weeks after almost going a full season without winning a fucking game in this league. Because they have all the motivation, they have all the fucking momentum from beating Washington and costing me money last week. And now this week, Minnesota, no Jefferson, Kirk Cousins, bitch ass, on the road? Ah, hell nah. I might fuck around and take the fucking Chicago Bears on this one. Again, Minnesota should win this game. The Chicago head coach is a dumbass. Justin Fields still has no fucking protection. But I don't know. He finally was able to realize he needs to throw the ball to Sky Moore more often. And Sky Moore was out there fucking killing them. So... or it's DJ Moore, whatever. So yeah, I think the Bears, I think they could win this one. And the Bears, again, they're at home. I know Minnesota's favored -3, but no Justin Jefferson. I feel like all Kirk Cousins I feel like when he does his progression, he's the first person he's looking for every single time on offense. And for some reason, nobody can cover him. But now no Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is a guy you have to double the whole game, and he'll still put up 200 yards on that ass. Now, who's the next best receiver for Minnesota? I feel like it's going to be easier to cover everyone else. I feel like someone's going to have to step up. I don't know if they will. And the Vikings defense is still trash to me. I feel like Justin Fields should be able to put up some points on that defense. So, just my opinion, America. I feel like I'm going to take the Bears. Fuck the 3. Give me some money on the motherfucking money line next week in Chicago, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, I just don't believe in Kirk Cousins' bitch ass. I feel like he's overrated. I feel like he's overhyped. And I feel like he's going to be out of this league. He makes too much money to fucking suck this much. And I feel like there's a lot of great young college quarterbacks that you can draft this year who are barely going to make anything, almost nothing. And you can get them on a rookie contract for the next 5 years. You could rebuild that offense, rebuild that defense, hype up that offensive line like the 49ers are doing with Brock Purdy. And you get a young, mobile quarterback, and you put him together with a young Justin Jefferson, and you could actually afford to pay Justin Jefferson, because Jefferson is going to want to be the highest paid receiver in football, right? Now you can actually afford to make him that if you get a young rookie QB on a rookie contract for the next 5 fucking years. You get a mobile QB with fucking Justin Jefferson? Ooh, I fire the head coach, get a new GM tomorrow, hire fucking Coach Primetime, get Shedeur Stevenson up in there, Shedeur Sanders, and I think Shedeur Sanders, and you team him up with fucking Justin Jefferson, and you get, anybody. It could be Caleb Williams, it could be the kid from Florida State, it could be the kid from fucking Texas, whoever you want. You get a young mobile QB, right? Doesn't have to be the next Lamar Jackson. It can just be anybody, but someone who's good with his feet, and you team that up with Justin Jefferson, and you get him like a good, quick, young running back, so you could do the play-action pass. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh, what do I do? Do I stop that young, fast-ass running back? Do I try to go after the quarterback and fucking, blitz him? If so, that's going to leave Justin Jefferson wide open in the end zone. Like, what do I do? What do I do? I'm telling you, that's what the Minnesota Vikings should do. They should draft a young, fast running back in the second, third round. They should get a young mobile quarterback with, their first round pick. and make Justin Jefferson the highest paid wide receiver in football, because now they'd actually be able to afford to make him that. So those are just some of my thoughts on Minnesota. But yeah, looking into next week, I like Chicago right now. Again, they just cost me money. So what do I like to do on this podcast? You cost me money, you make me money. Get back on your hands and knees, bitch. Just like the fucking U.S. economy. So yeah, I'm looking at taking the Chicago Bears on the money line. Fuck the +3. Give me the fucking money. And fuck Kirk Cousins, bitch ass. Overrated. So anyways, yeah, so we lost that ticket. That made me mad, but I think I'm going to run that shit back next week. Fuck the Vikings. All right, next up. The Jacksonville Jaguars against the Buffalo Bills. These bitch ass motherfuckers, America. Man, I fucking hate the Bills. I can't stand them. I finally put some money on them, and what did they do? They fuck me. And what did I say for the last 4 weeks on this podcast, America? I said the smart thing to do would be to bet the Buffalo Bills to lose every game this season. Why did I say that would be a good idea? Because I said the problem with the Buffalo Bills is that they're going to be favored in almost every single fucking game this season. I think 15, maybe 16 out of 17 games, they're the favorite. The problem is that when the Buffalo Bills are favored in a football game, they're never favored by -2, -3. They're always favored by -6, -7, -8.5. Last week against who were they playing the other week? They played some fucking garbage team. Who was it last week? Let me look that up real quick. Buffalo. Oh, the Dolphins. No. Before that shit. I know they played the Raiders in week 2 and then like Washington. They were favored against Washington and the Raiders. They were favored by like 10 fucking 15 points. And this week, coming up, the Buffalo Bills again are favored by fucking 15 points against the New York Giants. And the problem with the Buffalo Bills is every time they're favored they're favored in most of their games this season, always by 7 to 15 points. But when's the last time the Buffalo Bills ever went undefeated? Never. When's the last time they won 15, 16 games? Never. The best season in Buffalo Bills history with Josh Allen at quarterback was when they won 13 games 2 years ago. That was the best season they've ever had in franchise history. The best season Josh Allen has ever had was when he was on a rookie contract and the team and the roster was loaded all around him and they went 13-3. And guess what? Those 3 losses, they were all heavy favorites in. So that's why I said you can make money betting Buffalo Bills to lose every game this season. You're going to lose probably 12, 13 weeks out of the season, but those 3 or 4 times that they do lose, you're going to cash out a fat ass money line bet because they're always fucking massive favorites, but they never go undefeated. They always have a fuck up. I bet against them on week 1 and I took the New York Jets, and guess what? Here comes Josh Allen with the fuck up. Then week 2, I tried to bet him again. I took the Raiders. They destroyed the Raiders, but that's cool because the Raiders were like plus 600 on the money line. So I said, it's okay. We're going to keep running it back and running it back and running it back. Week 3, I took him again on Washington. And again, Washington was fucking plus 600, plus 700 on the money line. Lost that. I said, it's cool. I'm going to keep betting against them. And then last week, I took the fucking Miami Dolphins when they finally play a good team. They won that shit. I said, it's cool. Again, if you bet the Buffalo Bills to lose every week, you're going to lose 12, 13 times out of the season. But those 3 or 4 times that you win, you're going to win huge because they're always a massive fucking favorite. This week, they were favored by fucking 5.5, 6. Jacksonville Jaguars were like plus 200, plus 250. And instead of following my own fucking rules, instead of listening to the strategy that I laid out in front of you, I fucked around and found out. And I said, I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills instead of following my fucking strategy. Why did I deviate from the strategy? Because I didn't trust Trevor Lawrence. Because Trevor Lawrence was out there in fucking London, out there in the fucking doing his stupid ass Eurostep. And he lost to the bitch ass fucking, no, did they beat the Falcons? Shit, let me think about it. I think they beat the Falcons last week, didn't they? Or I think they lost. I think they lost to the Falcons last week. And when the fucking Jaguars lost to the Falcons, I was like, no, they beat the Falcons, excuse me. Okay, I'm fucking up my shit. They beat the Falcons. But I remember watching that game saying, you know what? This team doesn't look impressive to me. I feel like Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars, they always beat teams that suck. But every time they play the Kansas City Chiefs, every time they play an elite team, they always like never show up. It feels like the only time they want to play hard is when they have a better roster. But the moment they play a team that actually has a good roster, they always want to lay down and fold. Because I've looked at their record, and Jacksonville Jaguars are like something like 12-0 against teams that don't make the playoffs. But they're 0-2 against teams that do make the playoffs. That's fucking, are you kidding me? So just looking at that again, the Jacksonville Jaguars are like 12-0, 13-0, 11-0 against teams that don't make the playoffs. But they're 0-2, 0-3 against teams that do. So when I look at those kind of statistics, I'm like, oh, okay. So you just never show up against the good teams. You play hard against the bad ones, but when you face a team that actually knows what they're doing, all of a sudden you want to just wet the bed and look like fucking caca, straight trash, basura. So I looked at that and I said, man, fuck these guys. Let me get the fucking Bills, because the Bills are actually a good team. Again, I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl. I think they're overrated. I think they're overhyped. I think Josh Allen is fucking super way overhyped. But I still think they're a good team. I just don't think they're good enough to win the Super Bowl. So with that being said, I took the Bills on this game saying, you know what? I'm going to not follow my rule. I'm going to go against my strategy. I'm going to deviate from the plan, deviate from the strategy. And guess what happened? I got fucking donkey fucked. You got to be kidding me. I fucking should have took the Jags. They were plus 200, plus 250 on the money line. And I told you guys, the Bills are going to lose at least 3 or 4 games this season, maybe 5. And every single game they lose, they're going to be a heavy favorite. And even if you lose 10, 12 weeks out of the year, those 4 or 5 tickets you cash are going to have a fat ass money line attached to the side. So just follow the strategy, because they're not going to go undefeated. They're not even going to go 13-3. I think this year the Buffalo Bills are going to go 12-5, maybe 11-6. Which means they'll win 2, lose 1, win 2, lose 1, win 2, lose 1, win 2, lose 1. But every game they lose, the other team's going to be a fat ass money line favorite. And you know me, I like big ass, big titties, suck on that shit all week. You know, watch the nalgas bounce all night. That's the type of life that I like. So I looked at that and I said, man, I should fade the fucking Bills. But in this one circumstance, I didn't listen. I didn't follow my own rules. And I ended up betting on the Buffalo Bills because I didn't trust Trevor Lawrence against a good team. Again, against teams that don't make the playoffs, he's like undefeated in the last season. And against teams that do make the playoffs, he can't get a victory to save his life. So I don't know. Unless the Bills make the playoffs, this could be Trevor Lawrence's biggest victory in terms of he finally beat a quarterback that's elite. So we'll see. But I lost money on that. That was disappointing. We'll see what I do about it next week. All right, moving on. We had the Texans at the Falcons. I took the Texans because I really like the head coach. And C.J. Stroud, you know, I thought his offensive line was trash, and it looked like it was getting better all of a sudden. And I really like their head coach, and I don't like the Falcons. I think the Falcons are overrated. I think the Riddler kid, I think he looks like a dumbass. I think he looks like a bitch. He looks like a dusty motherfucker to me. So I can't stand his bitch ass. I don't know what it is. I just don't like his fucking face. I don't like his attitude. And I hate his fucking face. So I said, fuck that shit. You know, I'm starting to like that Stroud kid. So I took the Texans on this one. Of course, we ended up losing by 2. So we lost that ticket. So we started off the bat like 0-3. We lost the Commanders game against the bitch ass Bears, but it's okay because the Bears are going to win me that shit this week against Kirk Cousins bitch ass. We lost that game, you know, the Bills. Again, I should have won that one, but I didn't, you know, I deviated from the strategy like a dumbass. And then the Texans game, you know, it was a good game. It came down to the wire, but ultimately the Falcons did what they had to do at the end of the game. And the Texans defense probably still needs some more players in the offseason, but I still like their head coach. So anyway, so we lost that, started off 0-3. Next one, Panthers at the Lions. I took the Lions, but that was a small victory to me. I had the Lions on the money line with the San Francisco 49ers on the money line. That wasn't really a big win for me because the Lions were like minus 900, minus 800. They were like a massive favorite, and I parlayed that with the San Francisco money line. So I still ended up getting even money because San Fran was like minus 180 on the money line. So even though the Lions were like minus 800, minus 900, I still ended up cashing out that ticket at even money. So it was 400 to cash out 800. So I basically doubled my money. So, but I wouldn't really call this like a massive victory because they were already favored by minus 800. The only reason I was able to get even money odds was because I parlayed every ticket with the San Francisco 49ers money line. So, but anyways, hey, it's a victory. I doubled, you know, I flipped that ticket on even money. So yippee for me. So that was my first win on Sunday morning after having 3 straight losses. So, the comeback continues. After that, the Titans and Colts game, I was leaning towards the Titans, but I ended up staying away. The reason I ended up staying away was because Jonathan Taylor was coming back to play. And once it was announced that he's officially back with the team, they gave him his contract, made him one of the highest paid running backs in running back history. I was like, oh shit. I know the Titans got fucking Derrick Henry, but what do I say about guys like Kirk Cousins and Ryan Tannehill's bitch ass? I don't trust these bitch ass motherfuckers, man. Like, I just don't trust them. Kirk Cousins always loses games he's supposed to win. Ryan Tannehill does the same fucking thing. So I looked at that and I said, yeah, they got Derrick Henry. And who else? Nobody. That defense ain't what it used to be. Vrabel, is having a hard time, making this team competitive because Ryan Tannehill keeps wanting to make max money. You know what I mean? And what did we just say about Jalen Hurts? What did we just say about Matthew Stafford? What did we just say about Joe Burrow and all these guys? I'm not saying you don't deserve the money, homie, but as soon as you make that max money, you start to, just like Russell Wilson, you lose that Legion of Boom. You know what I mean? Just like a lot of these great quarterbacks, you get that big money. Jalen Hurts is, starting to fuck around and find out the hard way. You lose your best defensive players, and eventually you start losing guys on the offensive line. Ask Matthew Stafford's dumbass. So with that being said, there's reasons Tom Brady and Peyton Manning started to take a pay cut, and even Drew Brees towards the end of his career. There's a reason they take a quarterback pay cut. Because they realize if I keep making this much money, I'm never going to win another Super Bowl ring. And I need to win one more ring to validate my legacy. So Ryan Tannehill right now has no legacy because all he wants is the motherfucking money. So he got Derrick Henry and no offensive line and a mediocre defense at best. So I looked at that game and I said, man, I like the Titans because I want to fade this rookie QB, that fucking Richardson kid. But at the same time, I'm like, man, they got Jonathan Taylor coming back, and they got a mobile QB. Again, this is what I think the Minnesota Vikings should be doing. I think they should replace Kirk Cousins' bitch ass in the draft this offseason, get a young mobile rookie QB on a 5-year rookie contract, make Jefferson the highest paid wide receiver because he deserves it, and now all of a sudden, draft a really fast, really fucking quick running back in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round, and now you got an explosive running back running through the middle, on a play action pass with, Justin Jefferson running that shit deep, and you got him run a mobile quarterback who's good with his feet. Shit, sheesh. You could do some damage with that shit. Justin Jefferson and a mobile QB and an explosive running back. No mames, you could tear that ass up on Sundays. So I would get rid of fucking bitch ass fucking Kirk Cousins. I'd trade his ass to the Jets or something. I don't even know. Send his ass somewhere. Send his ass to fucking New England. Let fucking Bill Belichick deal with him. I don't know. But if it was me, that's what I'd be looking to do. But anyways, so you got Ryan Tannehill's bitch ass who keeps wanting to make max money even though he's done absolutely nothing to deserve it. But I didn't want to go and fade the young rookie QB because he finally got Jonathan Taylor back, and I said, fuck, Jonathan Taylor and a mobile QB who wants to pretend he's the next fucking Cam Newton? I don't know, man. I said, I'm going to stay away from this game and I'm going to see how it plays out. Guess what? I saved myself money because if I had bet the Titans and faded that young rookie QB, guess what? He got injured in the game and little ass Minshew came into play and he fucking won that game. Go fucking figure. So good thing I stayed away from it. All right, next up, Giants at the Dolphins. I took the Dolphins on the money line and parlayed it with the San Francisco 49ers. And I also took the Dolphins on the spread, minus, I think it was 11 or minus 12.5. And I parlayed that shit with the San Francisco money line spread. Boom! Both them tickets cashed, homie. So really happy about that. They not only won the game, but they covered the spread. Daniel Jones's bitch ass got hurt again. No Saquon Barkley again. I told you guys, I've been fading the Giants for like at least the last 2 or 3 weeks. I faded them against San Francisco, and I faded them here against the fucking Miami Dolphins. And I'm going to fade them again next week when they have to go up to Buffalo and play the Bills. I don't even care if they do get Saquon Barkley back from injury. I just feel like Danny Jones is a dumbass. I feel like the head coach is getting frustrated. I feel like the offensive line is fucking garbage because they can't do any protection because Daniel Jones wanted what? The motherfucking money, the motherfucking bag, the moolah, the feria, the motherfucking dinero to the ceiling. And Daniel Jones wants to get paid like he's that guy. He wants to act like he's fucking, the hero of the franchise. I'm like, bro, you whack as shit, man. That's all Saquon Barkley. He's the one who deserves that money. Your bitch ass should be on the bench somewhere, sucking his balls. You fucking suck, homie. So, yeah. So I'm glad the Dolphins won that game and they covered the spread for me. I'm gonna fade them again next week. And again, I know they got Saquon Barkley back, so it makes me kind of hesitant because, you know, just like Jonathan Taylor, he came back, and what happened? It's not that the quarterback gets better, is that the team gets inspired. The team plays better because now they're motivated that they got their best player back. Jonathan Taylor is the best player for the Colts, and Saquon Barkley is the best player on the Giants. And the Bills are missing a lot of key pieces on defense who got injured out there in London. So I might look to not necessarily fade the Bills, but fuck it, I might fade them bitches anyways. But at the same time, it could be a trap game because I want to fade the Bills because I told you, take them to lose every game. But on the other side, I'm also looking at it and saying, you know what? I want to fade Daniel Jones' bitch ass too. Fuck, especially in prime time. So I don't know what I do next week. I feel like I have to take the Giants if they get Saquon Barkley back. If there's no Saquon Barkley, then give me the Buffalo Bills all fucking day. You're not going to beat the fucking Buffalo Bills in Buffalo with no Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones as a dumbass. But if they get him back, I might consider it. I already bet the Raiders. I bet Washington. I should have bet the Jags. So I might fuck around, take the Giants, you know, and say, fuck it. Let's see what Saquon Barkley can do against an injured defense that's missing key players all over the place. So we'll see. All right, so anyways, cash that ticket. That was a double cash for me. Got the money line and got the spread with the San Francisco 49ers money line. Next up, we have the Saints. I took the Patriots in this game because I got tired of fucking Derek Carr always trying to fuck me. I bet him week 1 against the Titans. He wins but doesn't cover. I bet him week 2. He loses, still doesn't cover. It feels like all he does every fucking week is either lose or win, but he never fucking covers. And I got tired of it. So I said, fuck it. The Patriots just came back from Dallas. It was the biggest loss in Bill Belichick's coaching history. I said, I feel like that team is going to be on high alert. I feel like Mac Jones is basically playing for his career now. And I feel like the coaching staff is also playing for their jobs now. Because you give Bill Belichick the biggest loss in his coaching history, I feel like motherfuckers better come with it next week. And instead, they lost 34-0 and never even made it to the red zone, not once. So Derek Carr, once again, continues to fuck me. This motherfucker, man, I don't know what I'm going to do about this. Like, I refuse to not make money on Derek Carr this season. This overrated piece of shit. And I should have took the Bucks against him, but I didn't last week. I wanted to take Tampa Bay against the fucking Saints, but I didn't because I didn't trust Baker Mayfield's bitch ass. And guess what? What did he do? He motherfucking delivered. So I just got to stick with it. I feel like on this one, I got to be more disciplined with my system. I got to fade Derek Carr's bitch ass every single fucking game and not be scared. Because even though I have the Saints winning the division, I feel like once he gets to the playoffs, he's going to get exposed as a mediocre quarterback. Again, I do have him winning the division because their division is trash. I feel like the Panthers aren't ready. They can't protect Bryce Young for anything. And I feel like Atlanta's overrated as shit. And, you know, Baker Mayfield, I'm still not sold. So I'm not really sure. I feel like I want to fade the Saints more often, even though I have them winning the division. Because even when they win, they just never cover. That's kind of like their thing. Derek Carr will win 20 games and he'll cover in 5, lose in 15. Like, what the fuck? So he wins, he just doesn't cover. And then other times he just loses to teams he's supposed to beat. Just like Kirk Cousins' bitch ass and just like Ryan Tannehill. So I don't know. I feel like I just got to continue to be consistent on this one and not deviate from the strategy like with the Buffalo Bills when I should have took the Jags on the money. So anyways, I took the Patriots. I kind of felt like Bill Belichick was going to, you know, make these players fucking play hard after the biggest loss in coaching history at Dallas against the Dallas Cowboys last week. And instead they put up a big-ass 0. So we'll see what happens next week. Maybe it's just time to bet the Patriots to lose every single game. I faded them week 1 against the Eagles. I remember I did that shit. Let me look at their schedule real quick, guys, while I'm recording this. Let me pop it up real quick. We have New England. All right, I'm pulling up their schedule right now. Give me 1 second. We got New England. Yeah, I took the Eagles against them, and I cashed that week 1. Then I took the Dolphins against them, cashed that week 2. I stayed away from that Jets game. Go figure, they won. But I did take Dallas on the money line in week 4. I cashed that. And then I should have stayed away this week, but I didn't. Next week, they got to go and face the Las Vegas Raiders one more time. That might be a stay away game for me. I'm not sure if I bet it. because I feel like both those teams are trash. I could see the Raiders losing tonight and losing next week. But at the same time, it's fucking Mac Jones. Like, when the fuck is he ever really going to win? So that might be a stay away game for me against two trash teams. So we'll see what we do. I think that one's next week on Sunday night. We'll see. All right, moving on. So the Ravens, Steelers, again, another ticket I lost. Again, it was a really bad week for me. I don't know what happened. I took the Steelers. Why did I take I took the Ravens. Why did I take the Ravens? Because I don't trust their fucking QB. What the fuck is his stupid ass name? I keep forgetting his stupid ass name. Yeah, Pickett. I feel like Pickett is a bust. I feel like they need to replace him in the draft immediately, and I think they need to fire their offensive coordinator because he's trash. I thought Lamar Jackson, I get it, the team's dealing with a lot of injuries, but I feel like Lamar was the better quarterback, even though the Steelers have the better D. And I chose Lamar Jackson to get it done. Axon Jackson. Remember coming into the season, everyone said, oh, they're going to have a great offense. Oh, Lamar Jackson, MVP season. Oh, he's coming for retribution, just like Deshaun Watson's bitch ass. And guess what? Both of them have been major disappointments. So I took the Ravens. I don't know why. That just looks dumb as fuck. You want to know why? I took the Ravens because I said Lamar Jackson can actually throw touchdowns. And I don't feel like Kenny Pickett can. I feel like Lamar Jackson knows how to throw a touchdown pass. And I feel like the only thing Pickett knows how to do is fumble. So that's why. Even though Steelers have the better defense, I know, but the Ravens have the better quarterback who actually knows how to throw a touchdown pass. And go figure, they still fucking lost. So, yeah, a lot of losses. The Commanders fucked me. The Bills fucked me. The Texans fucked me. Colts was a stay away, but the Patriots fucked me and the Ravens fucked me. So Sunday morning, Thursday night was bad. Sunday morning was bad. And going into Sunday afternoon, I lost how many tickets? Thursday night, the London game, that's 2. Texans is 3. And the Patriots game is 4. And the Ravens were 5. I only had 2 tickets that cashed. I had the Dolphins on the spread and on the money line, and then I had the Detroit Lions, who were huge favorites. And the only reason I got even money is because I parlayed it with that San Francisco 49ers money line, like I already said. So going into the Sunday afternoon game, that's when I started picking up steam. I ended up taking the Eagles on the money line against the bitch-ass Los Angeles Rams. Again, I think Matthew Stafford's been playing good this year. It's just his offensive line is dealing with a lot of injuries, and I feel like they're all fucking trash now because the backups fucking suck. So I took the Eagles on the money line. Boom, cashed that ticket. And then I also had the Chiefs on the money line against the Vikings. I ended up not taking an insurance policy out on that. I ended up just sticking with it, and I just took the Chiefs against the Vikings because I said their defense is trash. And then I had a money line parlay. I took Eagles money line, Chiefs money line, and 49ers money line. Let me say that one more time. I had Eagles money line, I had Chiefs money line, and I had 49ers money line. I cashed that big ass parlay ticket. So yeah. So I came back with a vengeance in the second half. I cashed out the Eagles game, I cashed out the Chiefs game, and I cashed out the fucking 49er gang. I ended up staying away from the Jets and Broncos game, even though I was leaning towards the Jets. And I ended up staying away from the Bengals and Cardinals games, even though I was leaning towards the Cardinals. I was actually leaning towards the Cardinals because, again, I just don't trust Joe Burrow right now because he's dealing with that injury. And the past 2 weeks, he beat the Rams, and now he went to Arizona and he beat the Cardinals. Now all of a sudden, it looks like he has no injury. So go fucking figure. I stayed away from that game, but I wanted to take the Cardinals because I just don't trust Joe Burrow with that injury. And now he looks healthy to me. Go fucking figure. Even though he lost last week to the bitch-ass Titans. Go figure. But I stayed away from that game. I stayed away from the Cardinals game. That would have cost me money, even though the Jets would have won me money. So that's kind of like a wash right there. One game I would have won, one game I would have lost. So I avoided both of them. But I cashed out on the Eagles, I cashed out on the Chiefs, and I cashed out on the San Francisco 49ers. Which leads me to the last game, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, once again, I am taking the Green Bay Packers on the road against the Raiders. I know the Green Bay Packers offensive line is also injured. Bakati or Bakiti or Bukati, whatever his name is. Bukata, that big-ass motherfucker on the offensive line. The same guy that Aaron Rodgers, wanted to take with him to the Jets. He is dealing with a season-ending injury, so there's a lot of backups on that O-line. But on the other hand, I feel like the Raiders D-line is fucking trash and garbage. I feel like the Raiders defense just lets me down. And I feel like Jimmy Garoppolo coming back from concussion protocol, I feel like he's a bitch. I feel like he's been a major letdown. I think he's a bigger disappointment to me than Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson. I feel like Jimmy Garoppolo is supposed to have a better understanding of the playbook. I feel like he's just having a bunch of fumbles and miscues. I feel like there's no good communication between him and Adams. I feel like Adams should go off today because he wants retaliation against the fucking Packers, but he has Jimmy Garoppolo, and I'm not sure if he will. So with that being said, give me the fucking Packers on this one because I feel like Garoppolo's going to fuck that shit up. I feel like he's going to force an interception. He's going to force a fumble. And they haven't won a home game all year. So, give me the fucking Packers. I feel like Jordan Love can get it done against, what do I like to say? A mediocre defense. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are all my plays. That's all my recap. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you guys for listening. And thank you guys for rolling with the one, the only, the motherfucking general. Until next time, America.